Toons, huh? I bet we all thought this archetype was doomed, but apparently it's doing well. People are playing it a lot on the ladder. I think a lot of that is due to Toon Kingdom. Protecting your toons from both destruction and targeting is a pretty big deal. And because of that, I think we should all start playing Cosmic Cyclone in our decks. Even if our decks would prefer Lance, Cosmic is probably going to have to be the pick, at least for now. This isn't the first time Cosmic has been mandatory rather than it being a choice between itself and Lance. In fact, for basically a whole year, you couldn't play Lance because it would just trigger a Cyber/Harpy Lady. I'm about to talk about the deck and how to play it, but if you're coming to this video learning how to counter it, Cosmic is your god card. If you have any other way to get rid of Toon Kingdom that hopefully doesn't involve destroying it, because they can't attack directly if they don't have Toon World on the field. If you have a way to steal one of their monsters like Crackdown or IDP, you can also prevent their direct attacking that way, but both will be difficult to pull off because Toons don't often need to put their stuff in the grave for your IDP to resummon, and they often can't be targeted by Crackdown because of the Toon Kingdom. I've gone long enough about how to counter them, and knowing how to counter them is also going to be relevant for when you play them as well. There are actually two ways you can play Toons. The first is basically an OTK deck that can play a bunch of back row because the Toons are going to be super protected anyway by the Kingdom, and the other is a rank 4 spam deck. Let's talk about the OTK Toon deck first. This version of the deck is the most popular version of the deck right now, and it is focused around the new skill Toonivitation. This skill lets you normal summon Toon monsters without tributing, but you can only summon Toons, monsters with 0 attack, and monsters that are originally your opponents. Twice per duel, you can also shuffle a card from hand to the deck to add a Toon World from outside of your deck to your hand. Toon World is a continuous spell that simply lets you activate it by paying 1,000 life points, and that is all the card does. It just makes you pay life points. But the thing is that all of your Toons need Toon World to be on the field in order to attack directly. The skill restriction pretty much means that we can't summon anything from the extra deck, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't put any cards in your extra deck because your opponent may not know, and you may be able to fake them out by filling your own extra deck anyway, so put whatever stuff you like in there because you won't be able to summon them anyway. Since we don't have to tribute summon monsters to normal summon our Toons, we can take advantage of the high level Toons. So let's just talk about our options here. Toon Ancient Gear Golem, Toon Barrel Dragon, Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, Red Eyes Toon Dragon, Toon Bluster Blader, Toon Summon Skull, Toon Dark Magician Girl, and Toon Blackluster Soldier. All of them can't attack at all the turn they are summoned. They have to wait an entire turn just to be able to attack. The only exceptions are Toon Dark Magician Girl and Toon Blackluster Soldier. They can attack the turn they are summoned, so you might like to consider these if you are simply trying to OTK by attacking directly, ignoring their monsters with the protection of Toon Kingdom. The rest of them though, the fact that they can't attack the turn they're summoned means that we have to be a lot more picky about them. Many of these have the same or similar effects to regular versions of themselves. Cyber Dragon can summon itself if your opponent has a monster and you have none. Ancient Gear Golem does piercing damage and you can't respond to his attack. Barrel Dragon flips coins to destroy cards, and Toon DMG gains attack for every Dark Magician in the grave. The original Toon Dark Magician, not even the Toon one. And Buster Blader gains attack counting the opponent's dragons on field and grave. And Blue Eyes and Summon Skull are basically vanillas, so essentially these cards are utterly useless other than the fact that they can attack directly with Toon World. Dark Magician and Red Eyes though, they actually got bonus effects that can actually make them pretty valid. Toon Red Eyes has an effect that special summons any Toon from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. And Toon Dark Magician has an effect to discard a Toon card to special summon a Toon from the deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, or search for any Toon card. Consistency and board presence is great and all, but they still can't attack the turn they're summoned. But who can attack the turn they are summoned? Toon Blackluster Soldier. That's not all he does. You can also sacrifice his battle for a turn in order to banish any card on the field. So you could summon Toon BLS with Dark Magician or Red Eyes from hand or deck, because of course BLS can't be normal summoned, and then BLS can get to attacking for you since it can attack the turn it's summoned. BLS does only have 3k attack though. That isn't quite lethal damage, but don't worry, we have other ways of getting more damage in this deck. Of course, Toon World can be added by our skill, and if we would prefer to use our searching cards for other purposes, then we can definitely use that. But most of the time, we would prefer to search for Toon Kingdom, which is a field spell that treats itself as Toon World, but makes your Toons untargetable. When you activate it though, you have to banish the top 3 cards of your deck, so you'll probably want to get your searches off before activating this. And then after that, any time your Toon monster would be destroyed, you can banish the top card of your deck instead. This protection is really great, but we only have one copy of it in the game, so we really want to play as much cards that can search for it as possible, so of course we should play Terraforming as well. Toons have a couple other searches as well. Like we said before, Dark Magician can search any Toon card by discarding a card, so do keep that in mind. We also have 2 search spells, Toon Table of Contents and Toon Bookmark. Table of Contents simply searches any Toon card, and we only have one copy of it in the game. And Toon Bookmark can search any card that mentions Toon World. That includes every Toon monster and most of the Toon back row, including Toon Kingdom. Bookmark can also banish itself from grave to protect a Toon world on the field from destruction, so Toon Kingdom will be safe from destruction effects. Since we have such good searching in the deck, we can also play other beneficial back row to search for when we need them. If we want to OTK, for example, we could search for Comic Hand, which is an equipped spell you can activate if you control Toon world, and it steals your opponent's monster permanently. And it turns that monster into a Toon, and that monster can also attack directly while you have Toon world. Not only are you getting more damage on the board, but you are also taking things away from your opponent. If we went first though, we can use Toon Dark Magician to search for a Toon briefcase. It doesn't mention Toon world, so Bookmark can't search it, but basically while you control a Toon, you can shuffle your opponent's monster into the deck as soon as it is summoned. It's not the best interruption in the world, but considering it is searchable, it's not bad. The last Toon back row that may be worth playing is Toon Page Flip. It's a quick play spell that lets you reveal 3 differently named Toons from your deck, and your opponent randomly chooses one, and that monster will be special summoned, ignoring its summoning conditions. The great thing about this is if you reveal Dark Magician, Red Eyes, and BLS, then one way or another, you are summoning either BLS or something that can summon BLS. If you want first, you could set this to use on your opponent's turn as well, so that whatever monster you summon off of it will be able to attack once it is your turn again. This deck's game plan is incredibly simple. You get Toon Kingdom to protect your monsters, protect your plays, use Dark Magician or Red Eyes to get out your BLS, maybe search for Comic Hand to steal their monster, and OTK protected with the Toon Kingdom. The fact that you can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects with the Toon Kingdom makes this super explosive. The addition of BLS and Comic Hand to let you attack as soon as possible makes this deck way better than it was before. Here's what my version of this version of Toons looks like. Of course, you gotta play max copies of all the searchers, and Red Eyes isn't as good as Dark Magician, but gotta play at least a second in case Toon Kingdom banishes it off the top. We don't want our Toon Page Flip to stop being live. If you wanted, you could play a Toon Dark Magician Girl in here as well for more damage. You could also play a Toon Harpy Lady for back row removal, and of course you could also play a bunch of generic back row removal as well if you wanted. Very simple game plan, very satisfying, and almost entirely safe, except for the Cosmic Cyclone's existence. Because of Cosmic being such a popular card in the game, I myself have built a very different version of Toons. While it still might be weak to Cosmic, it won't be as heavily weak to Cosmic as this version is. As you can see, this deck looks quite a bit different. I'm not even using the same skill. There are a lot of things that this deck has in common with the other, like all the searchability, but we don't have the same Toon monsters. The thing that this deck aims to remedy is that the other version can't go into the extra deck at all, meaning if they go first, they do somewhat have to hope that for the opponent to be merciful with their non-targeting, non-destructive effects. It's not like it's a horrible turn 1, its protection definitely does matter, and the searchable interruption can mean something too. So don't take this as me saying the other version is a go second or bust deck, because it isn't. But there are some decks these days that really won't care about Toons going first play, so I aim to make a stronger turn 1 play than that, while still retaining the broken going second capabilities of the deck. The turn 1 strength I'm hoping for in this deck is the rank 4 package: Giant Hand, Abyss Dweller, and Steel Swarm Roach. I can guess what deck my opponent is playing based on the character they are using, and go into the rank 4 that would do the best against them. And if I'm not sure, then I can at least go into Giant Hand, because pretty much everyone uses monster effect. I could also leave my Toons in defense mode, since Toon Kingdom will protect them from battle as well. What allows me to go for this game plan are a couple of pretty heavily underrated Toons: Harpy Lady and Mermaid. Mermaid has a conditional special summon. It simply special summons itself from the hand as long as you control a Toon world. The community would call this an inherent summon, but it's a bit more accurate to call it a conditional summon, because the word inherent only implies that it is a summon caused by the card that is being summoned, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a conditional summon. A conditional summon is a special summon that isn't an effect. It's just an action you can make when you've met the conditions for it, like Cyber Dragon or an extra deck monster, for example. The opposite of that is an effect to summon. It's an effect that activates somewhere. That part of the effect is to summon a monster. And you can see why I don't want to use the word inherent, because Mermaid is summoned by itself, and the monster that summons itself by its own effect is also inherent to itself. Harpy Lady actually happens to be an effect to summon. It's an effect that you can activate in the hand, that if you control Toon World, you can activate it, and on resolution it will summon itself. And if on resolution you controlled another Toon monster, it destroys a back row without targeting. What's great about this is that the effect to destroy a back row isn't something that it does on summon. It's actually the same effect that summoned it. So if you don't want your back row to be destroyed, you either have to get rid of the Toons they already control, or you have to negate the effect of the Harpy Lady in hand to summon itself. Most people either don't know that, or their deck can't do that, especially if you have a Toon World to protect whatever Toons you already have, and because of that, this is usually going to be a very safe summon, and the opponent's back row is going away. Of course, the other version of the deck generally doesn't have to care about back row, because they will be protected by the Toon Kingdom the whole time. But for us, there's a chance we won't be protected by Toon Kingdom yet, because we are using the skill, It's a Toon World. It simply puts a Toon World on the field for us at the start of our turn, so we can get our special summons off, and the Harpy Lady could destroy the opponent's back row. Or the whole play overall could potentially bait the opponent to use their Cosmic Cyclone on the Toon World we already control, so that we can search for the Toon Kingdom when they've done that, and now that they've used their Cosmic, our Toon Kingdom is going to be a lot safer. It's also important to note that even if they don't have Cosmic, we want to get rid of their back row anyway, because even if our Toons are protected from targeting in the middle of our combo, our Xyz won't be. So by getting rid of that back row, our Xyz will be protected as well, and our going second Xyz are just as good, if not better, than our going first Xyz. We've got Utopia the Lightning, Castell, and Dark Rebellion. Utopia the Lightning can be slapped on top of a regular Utopia, and your opponent can't activate anything during its attack. And if it attacks a monster while it has Utopia as material, it can detach 2 materials to make its attack 5k. If we want to get rid of the opponent's monster, we can also do that with Castell, who detaches 2 materials to shuffle something back into the deck. And then lastly, we can reduce the opponent's attack with Dark Rebellion. It isn't uncommon with all of our special summoning and searching, including the page flip, which will guarantee we get a level 4, for us to go into 2 rank 4s. We could go into Utopia the Lightning and Dark Rebellion. Use Dark Rebellion to cut your opponents down to 1000 or less attack, and attack in for lethal with Utopia the Lightning. We also got to remember that with all of this, we can still steal the opponent's monster with Comic Hand to make going for lethal super easy. We also have to remember that Toon Harpy Lady can attack the turn it is summoned. It only has 1300 attack, but that could be just the right amount for you to go for lethal. We also got to play the 1 copy of BLS, because of course we can still search for it. That's to tribute monsters that the total levels are 8 or more. So in the other version, you could tribute another copy of itself from hand or field, and in this deck you would need to tribute 2 of your level 4s from hand or field. But there are going to be cases where that is exactly what you need to do to OTK, and if you have a spare page flip, you could always gambling on summoning it from the deck, and when it happens, it's very satisfying. So if you want to play Toons in this way, then this is how I think you should do it. If you don't have Toon Gemini Elf, it literally could be any other Toon level 4. We'd play 2 copies in case one is banished by Toon Kingdom. We just want to have a 3rd name for Toon Page Flip so we can rank 4 spam some more. Another benefit of this deck is that technically speaking, the skill is a +1. The other skill doesn't necessarily minus you, but if you for any reason don't have a good enough hand to both get the playoff and search for Kingdom, it's all good because your 5th card in hand is the Toon Kingdom guaranteed to be on your field by the skill. So we start off with 5 cards while they start off with 4. Something to think about. That said, I am not claiming that one version is better than the other. I just want you guys to have your options open. I definitely think both of these ways of playing Toons are very nice, but I also think that neither of them can ever be meta because of Cosmic Cyclone. If you want to prove me wrong, then bring the Toons over to the Discord server. We're going to be having meta tournaments on Saturdays. Some weeks will be free entry with no prize. Every now and then we may have a special event where it's free entry with a cash prize, and eventually some weeks will be paid entry where the entry fees go towards the winner's prize. If you can win with Toons and prove me wrong, then I'll gladly say that Toons is meta level. I do have some pretty spicy replays though, including one from one of the mods from the Discord, Plaguerot. Let's get into these replays, shall we? Alright, so I'm going second here against Triamids, so they're just going to do their standard Triamid stuff, get a field spell, engrave for fodder, get their hunter, normal summon a dancer, set up back row. I'm trying to bait out that back row real quick, so start of my turn, I'm going to get a Toon World, which is going to let me use my page flip. I already have both Gemini Elf. The only purpose of Gemini Elf is to be a target for page flip, so unfortunately it's going to be a gamble between level 4s and the BLS, but that's okay, because here I actually happen to be lucky and they picked my BLS, so I'm going to be able to get that BLS out and make it untargetable using the Toon Kingdom, and the main purpose of this is to bait out his stuff. I only don't use the Toon Kingdom because I don't want to turn off my page flip, right? Because if I happen to banish the Toon BLS, then I couldn't activate it at all because I'd only have 2 definitely named Toons in the deck, so I have to do that in that order. But he's going to use the Treacherous here, hell yeah, get rid of my Toon BLS. He's also going to tag out to basically make his monster indestructible so that the Treacherous doesn't really affect him. He has to use the Treacherous in response to Toon Kingdom before the Toon Kingdom finishes resolving and is properly on the field officially, otherwise he won't ever be able to target me. So it's basically do it now or do it never. That's okay, because now I can play for free. So I normal summon the Toon Gemini, and then I can activate the Harpy in hand. It is an activated effect. They can't respond once it hits the field. They have to respond now. It doesn't matter, however, if they tag out the field spell, because regardless, that field spell is going to get destroyed, but non-targeting. And then I go into the Utopia. He has a monster with 1,000 or less attack, so then I go into Utopia the Lightning, attack into the Dancer, go into 5k, team 5k, and that's GG's. Alright, so this guy, he's playing the new Utopia skill alongside Sharks. A very cool idea. Let us know if you want to see a video on it. He's going to go right into Utopia. I'm going to let him get a rank up magic from his deck, so he can go right into Utopia Raid. This is a monster negate, but it only targets monsters on the field to negate them. Pretty relevant. He's also going to be able to equip a weapon from the deck, that being Tornado Bringer, which will protect him from targeting, so I can't use my comic hand on him. Damn, that's rough. However, I still have a plan, so I'm going to get that Toon World for free. Going to use that page flip, which is going to get out any level 4. It doesn't really matter which level 4. It's just going to be a level 4. So I get out one of my Harpy Ladies, then I'm going to activate Harpy Lady in hand. He can respond, but he can't respond to negate this Harpy Lady. He can only negate the Harpy Lady on the field, but it doesn't matter because the Harpy Lady on the field isn't doing anything. So he has to negate here, or he can never negate. So I'm going to summon the Harpy Lady, and it's going to destroy the Tornado Bringer on resolution. So now he's targetable. Boom. Comic hand. That's a nice Utopia Ray, bro. That's mine. Anyway, so now I'm going to go into my own Utopia for a little bit of, BM. Then I can go into Utopia the Lightning. It's easy. GG's. GG's. Alright, so I actually do have a going first replay, so I'm going first here. Got my Toon World. I'm going to use the Toon bookmark to get my kingdom, of course. Got to get that kingdom, bro. Kingdom's going to activate. I don't really have a way to like get more than that. I just want to have the protection. Toon Kingdom's going to give it to me because I see that my opponent is clearly playing Cubics, because if they're playing Igami with no extra deck, it's 1,000,000% Cubics, okay? So I need that protection. That's mainly what's important in this matchup. So he's going to use MST. He can't use it on either of my Toon Worlds because the Toon bookmark can protect it, so of course he goes for the face down. So then I'll just chain the page flip. I'm going to go reveal the Harpy Lady, reveal the another of the elf, and reveal the BLS. I get the Gemini elf. So they're both protected from the kingdom, but they don't really do anything. He's going to get that Dooza going, get that Karma. He's going to get him the Crimson Nova, and he's going to be able to summon that bad boy. And he's unaffected by anything with lower attack than it. So that's a very big deal. He also burns both players at the end of the turn for 1,500. So he got the Dharma Gun as well, discarding the Vijam. He attacks into me. But unfortunately, he can't really destroy me because of the kingdom. And at the end of the turn, he burns us both for 15. He burns us both for 15, basically putting himself into lethal range, because both of my Gemini elves can attack directly now. So, just in case he's got some shenanigans, I'm going to use the bookmark to get a Toon BLS, but he's like, I don't really want to deal with that. I'm just going to scoop it up. Alright, so this is the replay against Plaguerot, one of the mods of the Team 6K Discord. Nice mat and sleeves, by the way. So, he's going first here. He's got a Toon World. He's playing the rank 4 version of Toons. He's getting that terraforming to search for Toon Kingdom, must be nice, but there's of course a bunch of other searches, so if it wasn't that searcher, it was going to be another one. He's also got the Toon Table to search for the bookmark, of course, because it's good to have the protection effect of the bookmark, right? So the bookmark is also going to get the comic hand for when he can use that, and he's going to activate that Toon Kingdom. He's done all of his searches now, but he's going to chain the page flip so he can get something from the deck. This is actually kind of a nice play. I didn't know about this until he had done it, but activating the kingdom then using the page flip means that you can get your thing from deck before banishing things from the deck, so that you're like gonna be protected from targeting, but at the same time you're not gonna like miss out on your page flip. So definitely do that play. I didn't do it before because I didn't know about it, but there it is, and he benefits from it. So now he's going to go into his rank 4 giant hand. It's just a protection play turn 1 at the end of the day, and he has the comic hand in his hand, so he's going to use the cosmic, get rid of the Toon Kingdom. It's okay though because he's got a rank 4. He's still okay, but his opponent's using Dark Core. What the hell is all that about, bro? Anyway, still discard fodder at the end of the day, and he's gonna go he has full combo in his hand regardless. My goodness, check that out. Must be nice. Anyway, goes into Clear Wing. Clear Wing acceleration is going to get him his red-eyed dice. He's going to get his Crystal Wing out, and he's going to attack in. He can't do much more than that though. Thankfully, we already have the comic hand. That's a very nice Crystal Wing you got there. I'll just yoink that from you and attack in for game. That's GG's. Not gonna lie, I think Toons are at the perfect spot right now. They are strong enough to clap cheeks with, but have a big enough weakness that I think prevents them from being meta. So they can continue clapping, and they aren't all that likely to get nerfed. That's how I feel about them. Let me know how you feel about them in the comments. If you have any questions about how the deck operates or in general, be sure to ask and we can talk about it. And if you liked the video, then slap like now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell to get notified every time we make a new video. And I've been Undead from Team 6K, signing out.
Hey, why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the weather, man. I ain't asking to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean, so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream, so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon, they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast. For